Okay, I'm going to start over. Good evening, everyone. Forgot to start the recording there. So looking at the overall market, on this weekly chart, you can see we've got a rising wedge pattern, and we have failed that wedge pattern. Okay. Now I want you to take note at what we've got going on here. Okay. And the point that we have a downtrend going on. All right. And in that downtrend, we've been getting warning shots. Okay. This is warning shot number 1 right here. That said, caution, be careful. I think this is warning shot number 2. Caution, be careful. Now, this can reverse itself. We know we've got earnings, and earnings can make, can change a lot of things. But I want you to take a second, and I want you to take a look at how these tops are made in all these different places. Notice we get those warning shots. It's like that big missile that comes in across the bow of a ship said, you better slow down or stop. We get those warning shots before we get a sell-off. Now, I'm not saying we're going to get a sell-off. I'm not trying to predict that, okay? I'm telling you that this is showing signs of stress. Now, that stress can certainly change if we get a bunch of good earnings. But what I saw this afternoon when the market started to rally is everyone getting totally and completely focused again on just this candle. Okay. And that candle just being the one-day move back off of support. Okay. We saw that, and all we wanted to do was go buy stocks. We failed to recognize that we're still underneath the downtrend. Okay. That nothing has changed. Let me point this out. This entire area right here, except for a couple outliers, we have been stuck. There's those 2 outliers and the one right here. We gap down. We have been stuck in between these 2 ranges. The fact that we rallied back up into the range means that we are still stuck in between these 2 ranges. Now take note that this was our trend. It's not a pretty trend because it has these big swings in it. That trend has broken. Okay. So I'm not trying to put on a bear hat here and say, guys, this is all bearish. That's not what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to warn you to stop focusing your total attention to this candle being built right now. Because all we've done is bounced off of support. In fact, what does this chart suggest? What it shows us right now is every time we rally up to this level, we go back down. So what changed here that would make us think or believe that just because this occurred today, that we're just going to blast on off and keep going up? Could we stop right here? Notice we have 2 levels of resistance here. Right there. And our downtrend line. Do you think this is a fairly strong point of resistance right here? Take that one step further. Now that we've looked at the price, look at the moving averages. What's happened here? 8 is below the 20. The 20 is below the 34. The 50 is falling. Okay? Does any of this suggest we should be getting all kinds of excited at midday because we have a rally here that we bounced off of a low? Did anything happen today to fix China's problem that sent us down there to begin with? Nope. Not a thing. This is simply a price action bounce and nothing more until we actually get a breakout. Okay? Now, what do I mean by that? What I mean is this has got to get above here. And once it gets above there, for me, because we've had all of this junk, it has to prove that it can hold support or hold at least a higher low. If it can't hold support after it breaks through, it's not support. Was this support here? It broke through that resistance. It proved it wasn't support. It broke through resistance here. It proved it wasn't support. It's not support until it's been tested. And so far, over the course of this month and a half, all we've been able to prove is we can't get above here and we can't go below here. Does anyone get a clue as to why they feel like they're being chopped up? If you think you're alone, you're not. I've had positions stopped out too. Rick, I know, has had positions stopped out as well. We all have had positions stopped out. You cannot have a move like we had today and not have positions affected. It's going to happen. Okay? It's not you. The pattern's failed. It's not personal. The pattern's failed. Okay? It happens all the time. Okay? What you can prevent yourself from doing is chasing stocks when we have been stuck for a month and a half in less than a 3-point range in the Dow. On the diamonds, I mean. 300-point range on the Dow. 3 points. So please, please, don't take this as the reason you should be buying with both hands. Not even a little bit. In fact, what has this chart proven to us? We get more than one day up, and we should prepare for a big day down. Right? That's all it's proven to us. Now, that doesn't mean you can't trade really good quality stocks, okay? But know that we are not in any kind of a trend except sideways chop. And when we are in sideways chop, is it going to be harder to make money or easier to make money on a good looking stock? It's going to be a lot harder, right? Why do you think you've been getting stories almost non-stop stories about how fund managers are stinking up the place this year, that they're not making any money, that they're losing. You get a story here or there, one or two of them that have been successful. Most of them are stinking up the place. They can't make money because the market's not going up. 90% of what fund managers and things do try to mimic the market. They buy bundles, they try to mimic the market, and then add in a few stocks that'll hopefully do better than the market to give you a better return. That's how they try to do it. Well, how is that working when the market's going nowhere? And if you back this up a little bit, you're going to notice that for the best part of the last 2 years, the market has gone sideways. Except for some really quick moves down and back up on big scares, we haven't moved. So this makes this market very challenging. And if you think I'm having just fabulous success in this market, you're wrong. I'm making money, but I'm not having fabulous success in this market because, let's go back here. Look at this. Except for these big, sharp moves for the better part of 2 years, we've gone nowhere. Now, we've been really lucky in this room because we're really pretty good as a group. And I'm not saying me or Rick or anything. We're pretty good as a group studying price patterns and price action, and we've been making money. But it's getting harder and harder to do that right now because everything that was moving up seems to be hitting tops. Lots of those big trending stocks are starting to break their trend. So the only thing that can really save us at this point, in my opinion, is we've got to have some really good earnings. And if those earnings start popping out really good, and perhaps this day, part of this day, is the big guys know something we don't, that maybe they are going to be good. Don't know. Really don't know. Does that make sense to you guys? I don't want you to... I talk to a lot of people, and I just, and had a coaching session here today, and they're so frustrated because they feel like they're working so hard, but nothing's working. Well, have you looked at the market lately? The market itself is really not working, is it? So we need something to pop, something to break, something to move. And I don't know what that's going to be. I really don't. I've been really, really careful to tell everyone about predicting. Don't predict what's going to happen here. We can't tell. Every day we're back and forth. You cannot predict this. I don't care who you are. The best you can do is manage your risk and apply what you know about trading to every trade that you set up, every trade that you plan. Okay? And just know that if the market is going sideways, it's going to be a lot harder for even a great looking stock to move up. If we're going to chop up 1 or 2 days and then chop down 1 or 2 days. Okay? Make sense? I really am seriously trying to help you guys keep your money. Okay? This is challenging. It's challenging for everyone. And I don't want to see you just get chopped to pieces in here. because you get frustrated, you want to quit. and here's the thing that stinks about it. It's a slow bleed. It doesn't just kill you. You just slowly, gradually bleed out. It's excruciatingly painful, isn't it? I made a comment in my morning video to the Right Way Options people. If you're a long-only trader, right now is a really good time to go find something else to do for a while. Come back when the market has picked a direction. Okay? Come back when we've broken this chain. I would have been much happier, and I mean much happier, to have seen today close like this than I am having it go back into this range, stuck in the same place we've been for a month and a half. Because at least here, I know I've got some potential trading that I can do on the move down to this next level. But when I'm stuck between here and here, makes it for pretty tough sledding when it comes to making money. Okay, so please take this the right way. I'm not trying to beat anybody up. I'm not trying anything like that. Be careful, okay? Save your money. Don't let this market chop you to pieces. Don't let the excitement of a candle like this turn you from a bearish to a completely bullish trader all at once. Because nothing changed. Okay? Nothing changed. Sorry to sound like a bummer, but that's the fact of the matter. Nothing's changed. We're still stuck. If we look at the SPY, we're in the same situation. Let's go to that weekly. Look at that rising wedge. Does this look like a warning shot and then a second warning shot to you that we should be really careful? Does it make sense that we have broken the trend that we have been in all of this year? We broke it for the first time. That should give us pause. Before racing in. We're still in a downtrend. Nothing has changed. Okay. Let's take a look at IWM. Now, when I look at, when I look at IWM on a daily chart, this is a wide range because of all the chop, but anybody see the pop out of the box pattern right here? But we popped to the downside, didn't we? And if we back this up, you'll notice there's that rising wedge. It's on the daily. If I go to the weekly, we broke the trend. Qs. Excuse me. Qs have been one of the strongest, holding up really well. But there's something here I think a lot of people have been missing. And that is the fact that we tested it here, couldn't get through. Here, couldn't get through. Here, and here. We broke through here, we couldn't hold it. We broke through here, we couldn't hold it. We broke through here, went sideways, and then we have failed it again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 times. Now the Qs haven't lost that rising wedge yet. It held. It's been the strongest of the bunch. It held right there. So should we be real excited about anything in the Qs if it just pops up here again? If we get a nice bullish candle up here, should we be partying in the streets? Or should we expect, since it's done it 7 times in a row, that the next day is going to be back down here? Would you say at least that is equally as possible? So when it comes to the Qs, for me, the Qs at this point, for me to get excited about the Qs at all, it has to break out, it has to come back, it has to hold a level of support or a higher low in here, and then show me a buy signal. Because only then can I be assured that this 7-time loser right here might finally become a winner. Does that make sense? Isn't that the truth, chicken? I mean, it's just been slowly and gradually grinding us down to tighter and tighter and tighter ranges. Harder and harder and harder to make money. And we're seeing more and more stop outs. Okay. So for me, I'm spending a lot of time setting in cash. A lot of cash. And I'm just like everyone else. I'm getting stopped out on positions. Good positions. MGM. Let me show you here. Breaking a long-term resistance. Got up there, pulled back, held it as support, and some buyers stepped back in. Failed and failed the trend all at once. Is that wrong? No, it's a failed pattern. It's not personal on me. Okay? Was I maybe too aggressive in this market? Maybe. That's on me. But you get my point. Even great signals are failing. Great ones. So be really, really careful with what you're doing. And don't get too excited about this market, okay? So sorry, I stayed on that a little bit longer than I expected. Any questions about Trader Vision? Excuse me, I'm going to shut this mic off and see if I can clear my voice. Hey, there you go, chicken. Make your money at the casino rather than trading the casino. Well, I don't know, Francis. There's certainly been a lot of back and forth manipulation. You know, if we take a look at that diamond chart again, and I'm going to blow this up so you can see it a little closer. Okay. So, and this is what I mean manipulation. Because we closed here this day, we opened here this day. Big gap when we can't trade it. Okay? We closed here this day, we opened here this day. Big gap, we can't trade it. Okay? We closed here this day, we opened here this day, we can't trade it. We gap down to this day. And then we gap down big to this day. So you can see all we're doing is fighting these guys left and right. And they're fooling us too many times. Suckering us in. Yeah, isn't that disgusting when you look at it like that? It's absolutely disgusting. We come down here, we close here, we open here. We don't get to trade much of any of it. We close here, we open here. We don't get to trade much of it. We close here, we open here. We don't get to trade much of it. And that has been going on for a month and a half. So when you say it's a sign of the times or sign of the market, economic times, I don't know. But this is a game I don't want to play much anymore, because as we get tighter and tighter, it's getting harder and harder to make any money in here. Well, and chicken, what I've been doing is absolutely avoiding those statements, because just that statement puts a bias in your head and other people's heads. Now, the only way we're going to know is if it actually does it. So why try to predict it? If it does it, trade the chart, trade the pattern. You know what I'm saying? Just trade the chart. I probably had a dozen PMs today asking me, so what do you think happens from here? I don't have a clue. I don't have a clue. In fact, what I can probably tell you pretty emphatically is it's going to gap one way or the other. I don't know which. If we get earnings tomorrow from JP Morgan and I don't know what other bank it is that's reporting, I can't remember, and they're really good, anybody see the chance we gap clear up here? We don't get to trade it. See, okay. If it gaps clear up and then moves to resistance, did we get to participate in much of that? Nope. If they have bad earnings and we gap down, how much of that are we going to get a chance to? I don't know, but I can almost guarantee there's going to be a gap tomorrow. That's the best I can tell you. Which direction? I have no idea. Look in here. Can you predict that? Not a chance. If you think you can, you're just simply fooling yourself. Thank you, Mary. So I don't know what is the result of it, or what's causing it, what the result is, Perhaps it's the worry over interest rates. Perhaps it's the worry over earnings. Perhaps it's the fact that, they've been saying for months that the market is fully valued. So I don't know. It could be election. Coach is right. It could be any of a dozen things going on that's creating this. All I know is I want to be really small. And I want to watch, and I want to wait, and I want to keep my powder dry without getting beat up. And when it does make its move, I'm ready to trade it. I'm not so exhausted from being beat to death that when it does occur, I'm so tired of it I can't even see it. Anybody ever been there before? Boy, man, I have. Been beat up, beat up, beat up, beat up, beat it. The move finally comes. And I've been so beat up I can't trust anything I see, none of it. And then I'm frozen. I can't move. I watch it move away. And there's nothing I can do about it. Francis, no. I'm telling you it was me. Okay? So be really careful here. I don't know what's creating it. I don't know when it'll break. If you look in history, there are periods of time that show this. I don't know how much you want me to get into this because we're supposed to be talking about Trader Vision. I'm going to go to a monthly chart. Notice right here, from about 1999 to 2002, market didn't go anywhere. It finally fell, rallied up, hit resistance, and fell to support. Okay. When it rallied back up, look what happened. It stuck there from 2004 to 2006. Well, actually a little bit longer than that. You could really extend that out clear over to there. 2007. So there is proof that we can do this for long periods of time. That's what scares me the most, is if that's what we slip into. I would hate that. I honestly don't think we will. I think our market has changed in volatility, so this can't exist this long anymore. There's too many market participants, too much emotion. But what we do have to recognize is anything is possible from here. Anything is possible from here. So let's wait until we get some proof before we step in front of it. I was asked a question today, and it was about, this stuff I've kind of gone through this week, how I was doing. And I said, well, I think I'm starting to see a light at the end of the tunnel. I sure hope it's not a train. And I kind of feel that way about the market right now. There may be a light at the end of the tunnel in this, of starting to show. I sure hope it's not a train. But what I do know is I want to stay out of the way if I can. I hope it's a wide enough tunnel, because as big as I am, I don't know if I could stand close enough to the wall right now. So please don't take it personally and don't continue. Stop. Stop at some point in time. Stop and say, I am out of this until we break out of here. I am done playing this game until we set a direction. I'm done. I'm not going to get chopped up anymore. Don't let them, just because you're sitting there, make you pick up that mouse and start risking your money. Okay? It's a good time to learn. It's a really good time to study price action. Really good time. There's a lot of information in these charts right now. There is a lot that you can learn. But you don't have to trade. Okay? Don't step in front of the train. Okay, any questions on this or Trader Vision or everybody feels fairly comfortable with the use of Trader Vision? You know, something you could do in Trader Vision that I was thinking about is create a new account and call it Paper Trade. And you can sit there all day long and practice. Practice your trade planning, practice your setups, your entries, your exits, practice your targets, your goals, and trade it. In fact, wouldn't it be kind of relieving if you're trying to trade it in here and you're seeing that you're losing most of the time? That you're really glad you weren't trading real money? Wouldn't that relieve you just a little bit? But if you study and you keep perfecting your skills here, when it's ready, you're going to be ready. You'll be ready to trade. Does that make sense? So you can stay busy all day practicing, improving, building good quality watch lists. In fact, I'm going to quit calling them watch lists. I'm going to start calling them a farm list. Because that's really what it is. When I create a list, I'm farming that list. Okay? It's my herd. Every once in a while, you have to cull the herd, right? You get rid of the genetic problems and issues and build a stronger herd. I said farming. I should have said ranching. and work that list to continue to improve and develop it, because there are still good stocks out there. There are still good stocks out there. But you've got to work pretty hard for them. Let me show you. I've talked about this NTES a lot. No, it's an expensive chart. No doubt about it. But I'm really going to, you're going to start hearing me harp on this a lot more. Find a chart that's in a trend and just wait for the next entry. There's always going to be a bullish stock in a bad market. But you really have to be patient for them. You got to wait. Wait for those trades to set up. Look at all the opportunities in here to trade this. Could it be setting up now? But we're going to have to wait. We're going to have to be patient for those trades to come to us. There's just so many good charts too that we're giving great signals. Look at this. Just all at once broke its trend. Trend that's lasted all year. Cracked it. NVIDIA. Major trend. Cracked it clear back here. Rallied, tested the underneath side of it. I've suggested you'll see this pattern quite often. Once a trend cracks, a lot of times you'll get this rally up to test the underneath side of it before it really breaks. You'll see that pattern a lot. But what do we have here? We've got a beautiful hammer off of support. Could this be setting a new trend? Creating a new trend? Just a different trajectory? If we find a buy signal in here, could we take it? Maybe. Earnings are coming. But it still could produce. It could be a good chart. But it's cracked its trend. Over and over and over. We're just seeing tons of those. Tons of those. We went through an exercise in Right Way Options the other day. Everybody brought a chart that was trending. Okay? So bring me a chart that's trending. That's what we wanted. Trending chart. Can we wait for the next signal? Look at how this chart trades. There's signals in this chart all over the place. Can we wait for the next one? Would this be easier than chasing stocks right now? I think it's way easier. Easier on your nerves. Big time. Big time. Have Rick do the blocking for me. So build your farm list. This is a great time for doing that. Finding those trades stocks that are reversing a downtrend to an uptrend. Finding those stocks that are in a maintaining uptrend. Put them in a list and keep working that list to find better and better trades. Okay. MTCH. MTCH does have possibilities. Chicken is right. Popped above resistance, consolidating up there. Look how well it held up in this market downturn. It's held up extremely well. Put it on a 5-day, you can see these are all-time highs for it. It was a new issue back here. Okay. I would say he's right. It's got potential. It's held up quite well. Okay. So with that, I'm going to give you guys some charts, and I put together 3 trade plans. I'm going to tell you straight up front that while one of them looks pretty good, the other 2 are iffy, and you're going to have to base off of if you believe the market is really going to rally or not, whether you want to trade them. Okay. There's not very many good charts out there to trade right now. So I'm going to start off here with ECA. Okay. Stretch this out here just a little bit. Now this I'm going long, so you have to be aware in this that we're trading against the direction of the market. Okay. That's the first issue that we've got to deal with here. Let's take a look at the chart ECA. Trending chart. Ooh, just getting a terrible delay here. Sorry, guys. Trending chart stuck in a very small range. Today put in a nice candle, bullish engulfing candle, right off of this support right here. Okay, right off of it. Starting to look pretty decent. If we pull this back, you can see there's areas back here indicate that support area. Okay. So you can also see that I've set resistance based on the price of the chart. And that's how I've set my targets. Okay. So right now, here's the trade idea. To pick up ECA, we've got a bullish engulfing. Just a little pullback opportunity is what I called it. We could really call it a pop out of the box. Okay. Because if it breaks that level, that's what it might be. $11.20. If it trades above $11.20 to buy the trade, keep in mind we've got 11.3 is when the next earnings report comes out. So it's got some time before it gets there to possibly make some money here. All right. So I did 200 shares. And the reason I did 200 shares is I meant to do 200 shares because in this market, I'm not going to stretch this number. If I'm going to trade, I'm going to trade small. I'm not going to stretch. Okay. I'm going to keep it a smaller trade. But in this trade at 12.56, if we can make 12.56, we definitely make the goal of the trade 11.5% on that position. Leave 75 shares in it here, and you can adjust this around if you want. I seriously considered making this 150 and just leaving 50. So you could adjust that around if you chose to. But you can see if we got them both, this would be a great trade. About 5 times the goal of the account, 15.24% on that trade. Risking $91.98. in that trade. Okay, kind of like that potential position. Now I'm keeping that stop pretty tight because I'm just seeing too many charts flip in a day. Boom, flip. So I'm not going to risk any more than I have to on a trade like this, in a market like this. Okay, so ECA would be one to take a look at. Where's my planned trades? So BPMC, I like this chart. Okay, setup is just not beautiful. Okay, popped out. So what I need this to do is to pull back. In fact, it moved 8.28% today. I will never chase a stock that does that. It has to pull back or it has to consolidate. Okay, so what I'm looking for here is a pullback to try and buy it as close to support as I can. So I want to see that stock start moving back down into this area and then give me a buy signal down here someplace. Okay, if it doesn't do that, I'm not interested. Now, the other thing that it could do is it could go sideways. If it goes sideways, and then what this does to shows me when a stock has little tiny bodies like this going sideways, first we have a flag, right? But what it tells me is no one wants to sell it. So if no one wants to sell it, I put an order up here to buy it. William, you're going to find that I don't worry about the risk-reward ratio as much as a lot of people do. What I'm more interested in is can I make a trade happen and can I reach a goal? Okay. If you're setting goals and your goal is small, you'll never have a risk reward that looks good. You just won't. Because you're going to take your profit too soon. Okay? But that's how I trade. I trade and take those profits out quick. I hit my goal and then I leave what's left, if I can have any more left in the trade, to move on up to make me more money. Oh, yeah. That make me pass a trade? Absolutely. If I put together a trade and I'll find these all the time. I'll put them in the plan. It just looks like the perfect setup. And I'll set it up. And when I really look at support and resistance, I can't make the trade because my risk is too high for my potential reward, for one. But second, I just can't make that reward pay what I need it to pay. Okay, so yeah, there's several things that'll kick a trade out. More importantly, though, is what does the chart tell me? What's price action tell me? I just have to be able to set up a trade where I can get my stop in a good place, okay, and I can still make my goal. Now, I want you to understand, I put the stop down here because that's where the stop needs to be. But please know that if it does this and the stock moves down and then I get a buy signal here and I buy this trade, guess where my stop loss goes? I immediately move it up here. Because there's my new support. I got a buy signal. Okay, so even though this is planned this way, this trade won't look exactly the way it's planned when it actually, if it actually fires. Okay. So in that trade, we're looking at, I don't know if you heard my dog groan back here, but he just let out a groan and laid over on his side like he's going to go to sleep. Entry 2878, somewhere around there is where I'm looking to get in. I've got a exit of 2738. That's where my stop would be. That would be the initial. And that's still only $149. Remember, I've got a max risk that I'm willing to take at 250 on the trade. So it's well within my risk tolerance on it. And a single target. Single target in the trade, 10.11%. Okay. Last one is EEP. EEP, notice, is another pop out of the box type pattern. Nice little tight range, nice trending chart, staying within its trend. Notice that it really didn't give up on this, on the market downturn at all. Hasn't given up anything yet. In fact, this really latest trend here that's actually fairly sharp is still intact. Okay. So I looked at the chart and I looked out here at the 5-day to see where the resistance is, and it's right there. There's my next resistance point. So, can I make a trade? Well, I said I wanted to buy it if it crosses out, breaks out of here. Stop loss initially right here. There's my target. Can I make it work? $26.15. I'm only buying 100 shares. Again, I'm keeping it under 3%. Single target. Remember the goal on this is $75 a trade. Okay. So, do I like this position? Am I going to race in to buy this position? No. Okay. This is really going to have to perform well for me to want to do this. Market's going to have to shift. Start looking better. But that is one of the trades that I could put together that I could actually make work, that have a reasonable pattern. Okay. And there's really not many of those. Okay. SGRY is one for your list to keep an eye on. SGRY consolidated here. Nice hammer. Follow through today. It's got resistance right here it's got to deal with. But SGRY holding its trend. Kind of nice to have in a market like this. Still holding its trend. Upside target. Maybe somewhere up here. I don't know if you can make a trade in that work or not. You're finding, I'm finding a lot of charts like this. A lot of charts. CSC. CSC. Pull back. 2 days move back higher. Completely ignored the down move of the market today. Didn't even try. Got resistance right here. It's got to get through there. But we do have an uptrend, right? That we can work with. So you'd have to decide where you'd want to buy that. But it's a decent looking chart. Got some potential in it, I think. MMP. MMP, inverted head and shoulders pattern. Okay. Stock has broken its downtrend. There's our downtrend. Broken the downtrend. Trying to move up. Okay, it's in that oil sector. Oil's trying to come up out of there. I think if we break above this level, we're right at resistance. That's why there's no trade on this. I will not trade a stock at resistance. So either this has to pull back and provide me an entry down here, or I can get in at a higher low and stay within my trend, or it has to pop through, hold, and then give me a trade. Okay, MMP, something to watch. SLCA. Oops. SLCA. Trending stock. Just beautiful trend. Ignored the market, giving us a little pullback here. Could this produce another signal here soon? Maybe. I think SCLA, worth watching. CSX. Love this chart. Just couldn't put a trade on it because of the move. If my stop loss has to be down here, I never do this, trying to put trades together for you guys. I even looked at an hourly chart to see if I can find an intermediate support area. Can't. I love the chart. Okay. There's my next resistance. I can't put that trade on because obviously I'm risking more than I can make. I can't make my goal there. So this has to do something more before I can make a trade on it. But it's a trending stock, staying within its trend, ignored the day. Great potential on this chart. So I put it in a list and I wait. I farm it. I already showed you NETS and I showed you NVIDIA as potential trades. Those look like they have some potential in there. So you know, just a few for your list to maybe pay attention to. Now, please be reminded, please remember, okay, we've got those earnings reports tomorrow. Things can really shift around quickly. Right, so from here on out, you must check the companies that you're interested in buying to make sure if they're going to offer earnings that they're ready to go. Okay? Don't jump in right before an earnings report. That's bad news. And they give you, a lot of times you just get this beautiful signal right before earnings, right? You just want to trade it so bad. I know. Been there, done that. Any questions, guys? Hope this was helpful tonight. Did I put everybody to sleep? Nobody cares? That's cool too. I'm tired myself. It's been a long week. Well, thanks, guys. I appreciate it. SPLK looks like a short. Yes. After it rallies back to resistance. Okay. You have resistance, price resistance right in here. Okay. just go ahead and let it come back up. It's showing it wants to. Let it come back up and show you a failure pattern in here someplace. That sometimes can take several days. Show you that failure pattern. If the market turns weak tomorrow, it could turn weak right away. But if it rallies back up, and the reason I like that, it's just the same as my longs. Let it rally to resistance. Show me a failure. I can put my stop loss close. There are some shorts out there, but what we've got in most of the charts out there today that have that short potential, we show potentially short-term rally, okay, because of these bullish candles that coming off these lows. So I couldn't really find anything that just screamed, hey, I want to short this tomorrow, okay. If it runs away, if it breaks through, well, I sure wouldn't trade it if it breaks through. Okay. Until I get a failure pattern up here. It can break through and give me a failure pattern. If it just turns around and takes off down, no, you could certainly trade it. I mean, if you're watching it closely enough and it starts taking off down and you can place your stop, you can certainly trade that. It's underneath support here, or I mean underneath resistance, showing weakness. Just make sure you can make enough to your support that it's worth that trade. One thing I won't do, John, when you say runs away, is I won't chase, and I don't care if it's up or down. Not going to chase. Either the trade comes to me or it doesn't. You know, and most of the time, we break through resistance, we're going to come back and we're going to test it. Okay? We break through, we come back and we test it. Happens most of the time. Same thing when we falter. We falter most of the time, we come back and we test it. So if we're patient and we make trades come to us, we get better trades, we get better entries. And then you get stuff like that happens like today. And look at this over here. Breaks through, comes back, tests the support. Beautiful buy signal. Opens here. So you can have patterns that fail. Every trader has this happen to them. Every trader. But there's no sense stepping in front of that train when we know we're gapping either direction. Okay, we're just gapping one way or the other almost every day. We don't get to trade the most part of it. We're just being manipulated back and forth. So the better thing to do is just sit out, right? Just wait. Just wait. Okay? Well, I hope you guys found that helpful. I like that ECA trade probably the best. I will tell you honestly, I would rather see you guys sitting on your hands waiting for this market to decide what it's going to do. Because I know that's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to wait. Gonna wait. Thanks guys. I appreciate it a lot. Didn't mean to, don't want to be a bummer, but at the same time, I don't want you guys to get killed either. I know so many of you, I mean, I hear from you all the time. So many are just getting chopped to pieces, and I'm just trying to prevent that from happening. Just don't play that game. Yeah. You're welcome, Bob. You're welcome, everyone. Everyone have a great evening. Thanks, Lisa. That's good to hear. It's nice when people recognize that We want you to be successful in trading, not just trade to be busy. Thanks, guys. Have an awesome evening. Hey, tomorrow, any right way options people, stuff like that. Just another reminder, there will not be, I've got to postpone the e-learning session on Saturday because of my father-in-law's funeral, but we will do it the following Saturday. Okay. So we'll pick it right back up. I just obviously can't do it. Can't do both at the same time. Making money is successful, in my opinion, chicken. That's what we're here for. Thanks, guys. Have an awesome one. Have an awesome one. Sit back, watch the show in the morning, pop some popcorn. I don't know. Hey, it's early. Whatever. Put your feet up and watch the show. It could be interesting tomorrow morning to see which way they decide, how those earnings come out, which way they're going to gap it. Take care, guys. That's a movie I haven't seen yet. I do want to go see that. Last one I saw, I went and saw Magnificent Seven. I like Westerns. That wasn't the best Western I've ever seen. But, it was a Western. Yeah, I'll have to see Sully. I do want to see it. I saw that, chicken. Hopefully that's a good one as well. Cool. Okay, guys, take care. Do something fun. And I will talk to you soon. Good night.